Hey, all, this is Neil Tate, and welcome to my review of Heart and Hustle Houston, Season 2, Episode 5. We begin the episode with Tori and Chloe going to um, this place for this podcast area. They're trying to start a podcast, and they go visit this. I guess it's like a business center or something. The spot where they can actually do the podcast. And so they're talking about ideas that they want to discuss. They both want to discuss grief, of course, uh, dating. They said they may like pull row in for the dating one, um, having children, not having children, different topics like that. And so they Chloe said that Tori has a personality that's similar to hers, that can be fun and lighthearted, but also have some serious topics that they want to discuss. So kind of like a mixture of it. Chloe shares with Tori that Jordan has been spending a lot of time, actually has been staying with them for a minute, spending the night and being over to their house a lot. And so Tori's a little surprised because she's like thinking, you, a couple of weeks ago, you just told us that he cheated on you. And now y'all are back to, on the good foot. And actually, talking marriage because Chloe also shared that with her that they've been, talking about marriage. She also told her that her son, I didn't know Chloe I didn't watch it last season, so I wasn't aware that Chloe had an older son. I'm thinking that it was maybe from a previous marriage or previous relationship. He's 3 years older than Jordan. So in the past, they I don't think they had ever met, but he just was not too keen on the idea of his mom dating a younger guy. So he came over one night while Jordan was there, and she said that she didn't really know what to expect at first, but they were cool. They had a cool conversation, and so she was really happy about that. Um, Next up, we see Labrina is having a birthday party for her for her daughter. And so she had invited, she said she invited all the staff members. Um, but the only ones that were able to come, Adrena, what's her name? Is, the one that ain't on the show no more. I can't even remember her name, and I don't feel bad because she not even on the show no more, really. She's the one that's going through divorce. She said she couldn't make it because of her. Even though she has kids around that age, it just seemed like she just not interested. She just seemed like she don't want to be on the show anymore. So um, I don't know. That's probably why they introduced a new somebody. But Chloe went to the Venus party. Manera was there, and a new cast member, Angie. I think we met her last time. She's a doctor, and she is actually related to I think she's related to Chloe or Chloe's husband, something like that. But it's like a distant relative. So she knows who she is. And the party was really cute. Everything was pink. The green said, "Oh, the girl's favorite color is pink." She got a little uh, bike, like a little dirt bike, but it's meant for little kids and stuff like that. So that was really cute. We see next where Tori is fixing to sell the house, her dad's house. So she had the real estate agent come over, and they talked about selling the house, and it was really sad. She talked about her dad being sick, and him passing away, and just how difficult it's been, and so many memories are in that house. So that was pretty much that discussion. Next up, we see a scene with Ro's mom, her stepdad, and her daughter. They all go out for a family night and they go bowling. And she said that her stepdad has always been like, like a dad to her. He never, treated her any differently than he does his own kids. And so they have a really good relationship. And she says that her real dad and her have no relationship at all. And she is having an issue with her daughter and her daughter's father. She said she doesn't like the way that he talks to her. Like the little girl will say things like, "Well, my dad told me such and such, but don't tell him I told you because he's gonna get upset." And I don't want him to get upset. And she said she don't like that because she don't want her daughter growing up, you know, like that and fearful, and especially she didn't have that type of experience. So I don't know. That's I don't understand it. But her dad did say he gave her some good advice. He said sometimes people are the way they are because of how they were raised and how they were. What do you know about his background? And she said, well, I know that he doesn't have his dad. And that could be it. But that is definitely an issue. Like, why are you? I don't know. Why are you so like not talking to her in a loving, supportive way? And so she said that, that's an issue between them because at one point she thought that they were going to be together, but it that, as long as he's still doing that, they can't get along, you know. But I also find it hard to believe that if he's treating a daughter that way, I'm pretty sure he talks to her not cool too. I mean, I just couldn't imagine him be, I, I just feel like when you treat that's why you have to watch the way people treat others, even the way they treat service people. My aunt told me that one time years ago, because everybody's nice at first, but if they treat other people poorly, they will get around to you eventually, so I don't know what his deal is, but Ro had actually blocked him from talking to the little girl, um, for a while because it was upsetting the child, and I don't blame her. He needs to get it together. What's wrong with him? So next week they gonna show. I think they're gonna be talking, and I don't know. He don't seem he don't seem to be acknowledging that he's wrong. So, but they need to get into some type of counseling or something if they're gonna have a good relationship, a better relationship. And next, the ladies meet up and go play pickleball, if that's what you want to call it, because I don't know what they was out there doing, girl. It was a hot mess. So, Angel is there, Dr. Angel, whatever. She's there and she wants to give a peace offering to Tori because she said, Tori, I heard that you were upset that you had to pay for your lemon drop at the party, that I hosted. So it wasn't obviously evidently the party was not open bar. So Tori said, well, I wouldn't say I was upset. I just, normally we don't do that. When we have a gathering, one of us, the drinks are usually paid for. I wouldn't say I was upset, but, I just did recognize that it was different from our norm. And then she goes into the story telling her about her grandmother had passed away and how, her family was trying to really just um, go through the motions of making sure the party was. I don't understand what that had to do with the drinks not being open bar, but okay. So they kind of soothed it around, but Ro was sitting there, and Ro was kind of like because the way she brought it up, she's like, "Well, a little birdie told me." Ro said, "Well, who's the little birdie?" And I'm like, "Ro, like you gonna bring something up? Say who said it." So she never would say who said it. So we see another scene towards the end of the show where Ro, Labrina, I think it was Labrina, Manera, and Ro was there. Yeah. And they were talking about it. And Labrina admitted, she said, well, I was a little birdie. I'm the one that said it. Because I just think we need to get everything out in the open. Now, Labrina, that was messy. Why would you even go back and say that? That was really messy. So now it's kind of like Rose kind of like, I just didn't like the way she, because to me, bringing up, but I just brought a lemon, as a peace offering, that was kind of condescending. I didn't like that at all. Like, girl, whatever. So, Rose said, well, I just, I'm not happy about this because we all just started getting along. Now we have this, issue. And Labrina was like, well, I don't understand why it's an issue. You know, um, I think it got solved. And so Tori was like, I think Ro asked her, well, you paid for the drinks? She said, yeah. She said, so you actually paid for the drinks and she still brought it up as an issue? That's my point. Why even bring it up? It was just really childish. Okay, Labrina, I don't know. I'm trying with you, girl, but you be on some mess. So the last scene we see is Chloe and her little girl. She's being there, and how they would feel like he if she married Jordan. And it's apparently been 5 years since they lost their dad. And so the oldest little girl, I think she's 10 because she was 5 when her dad passed. She said, well, your door was, the little girl said, uh, your door was closed. So she said, yeah. She said, well, yeah, I closed, closed the door. Um, when we go over to Jordan's house, when I go to John's house, the door is closed. And when your was here, we would close the door. And she said, the older said, son, I used to like to sleep with you sometime, and I can't because he's here. And she said, well, you act like he's here every night. He's not here every night. And she said, basically, the little girl was trying to say that they feel like she spends a lot of time with Jordan, and they wish that she spent more time with them. And then the little girl also went on to say, you want to marry him, but I don't. So, um, I don't know. I think it's gonna take, but I mean, I kind of feel what a little. I definitely feel with a child. I think the little girl got more sense than the mama, because she's like, it's just everything's happening so fast. And I kind of agree with that. I don't know. She might have to. I don't know. I don't have young kids. And then Chloe talking about they want to have children. Chloe 45. She talking about they want to she was telling Tori that they want to have children, because he doesn't have any, of course, right now. And she said, we're gonna the clock is ticking. I'm like, girl, you 45. You gonna have a baby? I mean, that's your business, but mama, girl, a baby at 45 is that's a lot. I'm not judging nobody, but girl, you really ain't gonna have no time to spend with that. I don't know. I don't know how this gonna work out with these kids. I guess it'll all work its way out. So we shall see. That was all the episode. I don't think they have but maybe 2 or 3 episodes left. Not sure, but I know they don't have a full 10. So it was a good episode, and I gave it about a B. Um, thank you all for listening to my review. I appreciate it, and I will be back next week. And I'm out.